Now, before I bring G Cobb in, I'm going to ask him this. I'm going to set this up. Darius Slay, and I'll say this to you. Slay was a man cover corner in Detroit. And one of the reasons that Matt Patricia, and Gary's close to that organization too, one of the things that rubbed Matt Patricia the wrong way in Detroit was he didn't really think that Slay was any good any longer at man. So what did the Eagles do? They traded for him. They dropped him in zone. Well, why not go after Jair Alexander? Put him over at the corner position and put him in zone. One thing, in my opinion, that could really lengthen his career would be playing in zone. You know, when you're a man cover corner, I think your speed starts to waning when you're 30. Now, look, he's got an injury history. As I just said with Xander, so did Saquon Barkley. He had an injury history when he was in New York. Let's bring our friend in, Garry Cobb from Fox 29 in Philadelphia, and see what he's got to say. G Cobb, how you doing, brother?
Good. How you making out?
Absolutely awesome. Let me ask you about that, man. I mean, would you be a fan of them taking a look at Jair Alexander? I mean, you know, I thought he had to go through waivers, but because of the new CBA, they don't have to do that. He's automatically a free agent. Would you take a look at that?
It's something you definitely got to think about because, you think about his upside. Of course, the downside is the injuries and everything. But when you think about him as a player, you've got to consider that, You got to call his people and say, hey, what can we do? Is there something that, what are you guys looking for? You come in here, you come into a team that, we don't need to say anything. We're playing for another Super Bowl. Is your guy interested in going to the Super Bowl? You want to start talking that way to him. But, and when he's healthy, he would put them in, you got two lockdown corners. And the thing that they're in the position, the thing is they want Cooper DeJean on the field more.
Yeah.
See? So they got a situation which is, it's like a problem, but the kind of problem you're looking for is like, we got too many good players. Nobody says we got too many good players. So because I saw the way that they're working Cooper is that they got him working at corner, they got him working at safety. They know he's one of their best players, so they say, look, we got to find a way to get him on the field on first down. When we're not in nickel, where are we going to have him play so that he's on the field? So if you bring in Jair, Alexander, you add him who's and the thing about Alexander is something that really CJ had.
Yeah.
Which is he's a guy that talks smack.
He's a ball hawk.
Yeah, he's ball hawk, that's right. And he talks smack. He's the kind that gets everybody else going because he's gonna come in and start talking, He's not gonna go into a game, where a lot of guys, they're playing, but they're not getting the other team, they're not talking smack and getting after people, but that's the way he is. So he would be a spark plug, and he would fill numerous holes. So I mean, if they could find a way to work something out, he would be a guy who. How could you not add him to your? If you get the opportunity.
How about this, Garry? You tell me if this is an indictment on Sidney Brown, though. So you draft the safety in Makuba. And like you just said, they're talking about playing Cooper at safety position.
That's right.
Where does that leave Sidney Brown in this conversation here? I mean, okay, you draft the guy, you're talking about the Swiss Army knife and Cooper DeJean playing his position. Where is he in this?
Well, he's a kid with tremendous, he's got ability and everything. It's just that he wasn't as far along when it came to the whole, I think, the feeling that he's got a mental grasp of the pro game, Times he's going to come up, I mean, from the safety spot, like, this dude is crazy.
Oh, he's a missile.
Oh, he comes like a missile and everything. That's fine, unless, you know, the quarterback still got the ball. You see? So, you know, that's great and everything, kid. You know, when the quarterback has handed that ball off, you're flying up there and everything. But I can't say that they trust him yet, see? Because, and that's something with Vic. He's one of those guys that he's kind of looking at you. Does he trust you?
See, I think he likes Tristan McCullum more than he likes Sidney Brown.
Might, you know, because that thing with Sidney Brown is he comes up with that, you know, like I said, with that fervor and that, you know, with the, you know, like,
you see the talent, right? You see the talent.
But, you know, he's got to be able, when he's playing safety for Vic, is he's not the kind of guy that's going to be cool with you. You know, you were up there and now they got 6. He's not cool with that. You know,
no,
like you gave him 6. Now you might not do it a lot, but a few times you gave him 6. He's not. Vic's not sleeping good with that. See, he's that kind of coach. You know, you giving him a quick, easy one. He's not interested in that. And you know, and I don't know why they got rid of CJ. I haven't really been able to get down to the bottom of it. But that might be part of it.
Was it attitude?
I think, but, you know, with Vic, you know, but it had to be something with attitude, I think, you know, because I thought he was very productive. The guy is picking off balls. He's going to come up and make some good tackles. He's a good tackler in open field and everything. Now, did he have a few plays? See, he had a few plays. It wasn't that where, hey, he's coming up. Hey, the quarterback still got the ball. So, you know, this is a gimme. You know? So, you know, Vic is not cool with that. You know, but I don't know that he's getting rid of people for that. But, you know, if you just have a couple of them, you know, but you know, Vic is a demanding, meaning like he gonna play that too deep now. He don't like giving up easy money. See, he doesn't like that.
No, he'd rather give up the 10-yard play than he would the 25-yard play. And too many plus 25. You and I know this. One of the goals for a defense each game is don't give up the plus 25. Hold the team under 290 yards in total offense.
Yep.
Keep a guy under 21 points. Mm-hmm. You know, they put those team goals per game up on what you're doing. And if you don't play within that parameter, they're going to get rid of you.
Hey, that's the way Vic is, you know? And Vic is a guy who, look, he's got those parameters and, you know, you can see, like he could be hugging you after the game. He'd go, but then you see, you know, don't see no grin and there's no emotion. Hey, because if you gave up a big play, man, I guess when he laid down, he going, just that big play. He can't get comfortable either side. You know what I mean? So that's the way Vic is. And, you know, that's why he gets a lot of his players. You know, because he's not as easy to fall in love with you. You're giving up big plays, man, he is not falling in love with you. And you know, you can see him and you can go like, but that's the way he is. And you know, that's why he's been good all these years.
Help me out on this. You know, Gary, everybody loves the last name, and I get it in Philly, Trotter.
Yeah.
I look at Trotter and I go, I think he's limited. I mean, it's speed. Now, look, he's been schooled well. His dad talks about the instincts he has. He's in position. You don't have to have 4.4 speed to play the position. I know the game's played in space.
Yeah.
Tell me what you think of Trotter. Do you think that he is a starter? And most likely, Gary, they have him right now number 1 on the depth chart. That means he's going to play or potentially start versus the Cowboys September 4th. You tell me what you think of Jeremiah Trotter Jr.
Well, I don't think the jury's in right now on the pro level because you know what you said about his speed or lack of having that closing speed and things. You know, like he's not the athlete that Zach Bourne is. You know, but he is. A lot of times he's in position the right position all the time, and a lot of times that makes up for it. But I think that again, that's a question. You know, because he hasn't played, you know, a lot. But when he's been in there, he's been able to hold his arm because a lot of times he's in the right position. He's anticipating the right thing. He's not the kind that's, you know, he's going to read things. He's not going to just come flying up there. But that jury is still out on him, you know, as to whether he's going to be, when he does get isolated one-on-one, man, is he going to be able to stay in position where he's not going to give up a big play?
Is it reps? Do you think it's just reps, or do you think it's a skill set thing? Or again, we're in a position we just don't know yet.
I think it's skill set with him because he's always in the right position, you know. But you know, times you get you're one-on-one with that guy, you know, it could be, you know, he's running out and up. It's just, can you stay with him long enough? You know, but now I will say this, that most of the time he's not going to be in that position very much with Vic. Vic's playing too over the top nearly all the time. So it's rare if you're a linebacker that you get caught out there just basically on your own. He doesn't do it a lot. So and I know Vic likes him because the kid's always in the right position.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, the other things he does is kid loves football. He's over there. He's going to be, you know, doing some work after practice, you know, to be the best player he can be. He does all. The kid he loves football, and you know, it's been his whole life. So and most of the time, he is always in the right position. He is a very smart football player. He knows what he's doing. And most of the time, he's not going to get in position where he's one-on-one with the guy. But there are going to be some times when Vic is going to go after it. And, you know, can he stay with the guy? You know, he doesn't have that big-time speed. You know, I don't know what he is, but you could see.
It was 4.8 coming out of college.
Yeah. See, that's where he is. Yeah. See,
and especially Garry in a game of space today, right? We're talking
that's right.
about a game that's in space today.
It's going to be tough. That'll be tough on him, and people are going to try to go after him. You know, they're going to try to go after him to get him in situations where he got to run with a guy.
Let me ask you something here about Jalen Hurts here. I mean, you know, Chris Sims dropped him down in his top 10 rankings, the 10th from 9th a year ago. And let me ask you this: if Kevin, what do you think the chances of Jalen Hurts having another coordinator next year? Now, get this: 5 coordinators in his 4 years starting to date.
Yeah.
If Kevin Patullo is struggling or he wins, I mean, what in the mind would not think that Kevin Patullo would get a coaching job somewhere in the NFL? Because I say this: look at Kellen Moore a year ago. Kellen Moore had been fired in Dallas, and he was fired in the Chargers. He wasn't coming into Philadelphia, Garry, on a high note.
Yeah.
He was coming into Philadelphia on a low note, and he got a job. And I'm still trying to figure out how he improved the Eagle offense. Where did he improve the Eagle offense? In the run game? I thought that was more Howie by adding Barkley. I mean, most of the pieces were on the table already. Where did Kellen Moore really improve the game? You know where he improved the game? They decided to go with running the football. That's not improving the offense as an overall look. So to me, I'm pretty shocked that he's where he is. I mean, you think the organization has done a great job developing him enough? And what I mean by that, all the different voices. Garry, there's been 4 different Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I know.
Every year.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I think right now that, you know, I think, I don't know who was it that said this, but really it's more Jalen's offense than these other guys, really. I think that, and really see the big thing with Patullo is that he's been here, see? So it's not where he's really coming in from somewhere else. I expect good things out of him because he's been here. There's no excuse. He's been here. Come on, been all these years with Jalen. He knows Jalen. He knows the offense. He should be comfortable with this, and I wouldn't be surprised if he does do well and ends up getting hired somewhere else, where he's got a head coaching job or something. Because I expect good things because he and Jalen know each other very well. You know, they've been together all these years. It's not where you got a new guy coming in. Now, last year, see, with Kellen,
they hired a guy from outside.
You got a guy from outside coming in. That was, the question mark. But I think I expect good things out of them this year because they've been working together. Come on, these guys are working. It's been 4 or 5 years. I mean, Jalen's whole time in the NFL, he's, Petula's been right there. So,
okay.
So I expect good things. There should be no drop off. These guys know each other. Petula knows the offense. He knows the players. There shouldn't be any drop off. I mean, these guys have been around each other all this time. And I was just with some of the guys, they were talking about how much they like Petula when he puts in something, like if he can put in a play, because he's real good in front of the guys, And I could see that even with when he was interviewed, he's more comfortable than those guys. He's comfortable talking in front of people. I think he's going to be all right. I expect them to hit the ground running because there's no reason they shouldn't. This guy's not new. He's not new. He hasn't been calling the plays. He's been putting them in because they say, hey, he gets up and he's putting in the play and putting in this play and everything. All these guys know him. He knows Jalen. They've been working together. Whole time Jalen's been in the league. There's no reason they shouldn't hit the ground running. Look at all the players. These guys are not, nobody's new. These guys are all, have been around. There is no excuse for them not to hit the ground running.
Okay, couple last ones here for you then. Okay,
yeah.
So do you expect any difference in approach? Anything different?
I expect them to let Jalen, throw the ball more. And they have let Jalen call, where a lot of times he's making the call on the play. A lot of times with the running plays, they let him call the play, because depending on which side it was to or which one of the running plays they should run. A lot of times last year, Jalen was calling the running play, So, and then of course with the options that they would, where he's running an option. So I expect, I think they're not going to run the ball as much. I just couldn't see them running the ball as much as they did last year, especially feeding Saquon as much because I don't see how you could, give him the ball that much, But I think that they're still going to be run first. I think there's still going to be a run first offense. But
you think more RPOs?
Yeah, more RPOs. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I would think so. And I just think they're going to throw the ball more because, because everybody's going to try to stop Saquon. I think he's going to get from the way that I think that they feel about Jalen, where they give Jalen the option. A lot of times when he comes up there, if he sees something where he's got to play there throwing the ball, go ahead and call it and take it, because they're going to be trying to stop Saquon.
Let me ask you this. How confident are you in the Eagles and the talent they have right now and the depth that they have on defense? Today, as you know, is the last dress rehearsal. Then you have camp in July. How confident with the depth and the talent that they have assembled right now heading into training camp that this will be a successful season?
When you say successful season, see, the whole thing is what you're talking about. You talking about them winning the Super Bowl. I would be very disappointed they don't win the division and they're not hosting a playoff game. I'd be very disappointed. There's no excuse for them to not win the division.
So for you, that's the floor.
At least, yeah, because they're better than, I think they're better than all the teams in the division if they play the way they're capable. Of course, they do have a tough schedule they're playing against, but I expect them to do that. But the defense to me is the question mark. Like, how good are they going to be? How good are all those guys going to be? And are they going to be able to get a consistent pass rush? That's to me is the question. How well these guys are going to play, but really, how are they able to get a consistent pass rush? Can they do that? That's what I'm interested in seeing. And if they can do that, they're going to be very tough to deal with. But I don't know that I've seen these guys where you're one-on-one. Can they beat that one-on-one block consistently? Or is the quarterback back there patting that ball? That's the thing that concerns me. Can they get to put pressure on the quarterback consistently? That's what we got to wait and see.
My last question for you. This is going to be kind of a hard question for you. And you tell me if I'm off base, or you tell me that what you're saying. The last year, maybe the last 2 years, Jason Kelce, how much do you think he played into the lack of Jalen Hurts' development when you got a guy setting pass protections? And last year was really the first year, and maybe that's one of the reasons we saw the numbers so low when it came to the passing game. Not a very good passing game. I think there were 3 teams that were worse in the league in the passing game. There wasn't any balance, so to speak, with when it comes. You can have a good run game, but you also want to try to create some balance to keep people honest there when you're showing up. So, in your opinion, and then you saw what Cam did. Cam gets in there. The football team improved. Guy gains 2,000 yards. I mean, they go to a Super Bowl and win it. I mean, again, this comes back to the development of Hurts. You're telling me a quarterback in his 5th year in the NFL doesn't know how to set protections? I'm not sure I ever heard that.
Correct.
And is that an organizational thing?
Well, I think it was really from what they was telling me, it's because Jason was so good at it, that he was a veteran, and if he wasn't at the level he was, then they wouldn't have given him that responsibility. See, even though I think Jalen he could still change things if he wanted to, but for the most part, he went with what Jason thought. But you see, so last year, that's why I think, it's going to be interesting this year, in seeing how well they do. But I expect them to do well because, come on, Jalen has been there under this. He's been here all this time. They're not changing anything. He knows the system. So I think he should be ready. Should be ready to do it. He's been there with responsibility last year and everything. So he should be comfortable in this stuff now. I don't think that's
in your opinion. You think this year here, this is the first year maybe that this is truly Jalen Hurts' offense?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. And I think that he's got to be comfortable with it. He's been in it a good while. There's no reason they shouldn't hit the ground running. I mean, he knows the system. It's not that they change anything. And I think that with them putting Petula in position is like a pat on the back or whatever, because you got a guy who's already been here. You're not changing anything this year. See, if anything, I think, all the time they talked about the changing from this guy to that. There is no change this year. You got a guy who's been here in the system that they're not going to be changed. They'll be adding things, of course, plays. They do that all the time. But this system is the system he's been in the whole time he's been in the league. It's the same system. So I expect good things out of him. I'll be very disappointed if it's not, because teams now are going to go into this season. They're thinking Saquon, and he's got all these weapons. They're thinking Saquon. I expect them to carve some people up. Come on, you got experienced receivers. You got a run threat. I expect good things, man. I expect the passing game, and you got Goddard back too. All experienced players. These guys, and the thing is, you don't have to just go to one guy. You got all these guys. There's no reason they shouldn't be carving up defenses through the air.
Let me sneak this in on you. Are you
Yeah.
concerned at all, again, that Saquon, I mean, are they putting and pushing their chips all in on one player? Because, Gary, you lose that dude. I think you could lose Jalen Hurts for 3 or 4 games. You're not going to win a Super Bowl without him. I understand that. But you could probably survive a couple games. But if you lose Barkley for 3, 4, 5, 6 games, that's going to hurt that team's chances of winning.
You know what? I hear you
concerned about the usage.
Well, of course we want him to stay healthy and everything. And
absolutely.
But I don't think they shouldn't be living off Saquon as much as they did a year ago, because teams are going to be trying to stop him. You should be able to throw the ball comfortably. Come on, you got quality receivers. You got great receivers.
Great.
You got a very good tight end. They're trying to stop the running game. You should be able to carve them up, And if they don't, I'm going to be disappointed, because, come on, they're trying to stop Saquon all offseason. You can see going like, any of the defensive coordinators, if you see them on a plane, if you see the guy sitting, waiting to go into the office, let's say talk to the head coach, the defensive coordinator should be drawing up stuff to stop Saquon Barkley. That's what they should go into the season. So if you can't throw the ball against these guys, that's going to be bad. That'll be very bad. Come on. You got outstanding receivers. You got a defense trying to stop Saquon.
Yeah.
I think they can throw. I think they'll be able to throw the ball on people. And I think Jalen is advanced enough to be able to do that. So that's what I'm thinking. If I don't get that, I'm disappointed.
Oh, yeah.
Now he's it's been, workouts during the offseason, but he's been looking well, but I don't go by that, out of the camp, because come on,
Hey, helmets and shorts, Garrett. Hey,
yeah, helmet and shorts. So you can't take too much out of helmet and shorts, but I do expect them to throw the ball well. Come on, man. I'll be really very upset if they don't throw the ball well. Come on. How much better could he get? You got a defense trying to stop Saquon. They've been drawing up stuff all offseason. Well, like in the Super Bowl. That's what I'm talking about. In the Super Bowl, we're going to stop Barkley. Okay, you guys go ahead and stop Barkley, but we're going to throw for 300 yards.
Why can't they play like that every week like they did in the Super Bowl?
That's what I'm expecting. That's what I want to see. I think they should be able to do that. If teams want to commit that much to stopping Saquon, then go ahead. You guys stop Saquon. We're just going to throw for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns, and then we'll get out of your way. That's what I'm expecting. If I don't see that, I'm disappointed, because you can't take away Saquon and play pass. You can't do that. I'm sorry.
Absolutely. I completely agree.
So we'll see if, and then Petula, he's comfortable with calling the play. He's comfortable. He knows these players. He's been here around all these players. He knows it. I think he's going to do a good job because he's comfortable. He's right at home, So I'm expecting good things. And really out there, you can see Jalen is comfortable with stuff. He seems like he's very comfortable.
How much do you think that Super Bowl plays into his comfort zone now that he knows that he stepped up in that game?
I think it definitely. I think it plays into everything. When they needed him to, and what you got went into that game. We're going to stop Saquon at all costs. Well, go ahead and stop Saquon. We're going to throw, like I said, we'll throw for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. And then we'll get out of you guys' way. We'll get out of town. We'll leave out of here. That's the way I want the attitude. That's the way they should be, because they don't have any rookies. These are experienced players. You should know what you're supposed to be doing. You should know the adjustments. Yeah.
Hey, you think Jacoby Dean, this is his last year in Philly?
Well, if he plays well, if he plays well, because I think that he get a chance to go somewhere else and people be willing to give him some money, But I don't know that that's going to be the case. I think that You know, I expect a good year out of him. You know, the whole thing is how soon is he going to be back? That's the big thing. You know, if he's going to be back soon, you know, I think he'll go in and he'll take over. Because I don't expect there to be any problem with them against the run. It's going to be that pass rush that I need to see.
Well, what's John Campbell's role then when he comes in? When he's healthy, Garry, where is he playing? What's his role?
You know, see, that's going to depend on, like, you know, how healthy guys are. But I expect him to play him where he's playing inside linebacker, you know, because of Nakobe, you know, his health. And I expect them to be thinking about him doing playing inside linebacker. And that question I've been asking you, which is, do they have some good outside pass rushers where these guys are coming off the ball, beating the guy, getting to the quarterback?
Is that why they're putting Zach out there and testing him out there and rushing him from the outside?
I don't think Zach is going to be, you know, I think that they'll do it as a change-up sometimes, but I don't think that's something Zach is going to be. Zach's going to be inside. He's too important there, and he was too good last year for them to change him. And you know, so I don't see that. Every now and then they'll move him outside and he comes off the corner and everything, but that's not going to happen very much. I could see them though with the rookie, where they would have him line up outside and just be rushing the passer if the other guys aren't doing the job, you know. But they got to do the job, and you know, you got to be able to be getting to that quarterback consistently, you know, where people are worried about you, because all of them are one-on-one except you know, Jalen Carter. You know, they double him all the time, but the rest of the guys are one-on-one.
Yep, absolutely. So, Garry,
we'll see.
Absolutely. It should be absolutely sensational. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you doing this.
Hey, have a good one. We'll see. All right.
We will. We will see. That's my friend, Garry Cobb. So I just got a text message from Chris Sims. I'm trying to get him on here. And I go, so you dropped Jalen Hurts. Okay. Yes, Xander, I think if that's cool with you, I'd like to do that. If that's all right. If that's okay, that would be cool. Oh, man. Xander's awesome. So Xander's taking mercy on me. Okay. So we're going to wrap it up at the top of this hour here. Thank you, dude. Look. I wrote this down here. My strengths and weaknesses. Coming out of the mini camp today, Xander's getting soft. Xander's taking mercy on big cells. And I say this to you, and I'll put this out there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 5 best teams in the NFC